Hi, welcome to CineMunn Podcast. I'm your host, Vince Munn, joined once again with Tommy Metropolis.
How goes it?
William Wickwire.
Hello. Okay, Batman, Superman.
Yeah.
Dawn of Justice.
Alright, so last night we all went together and saw Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. 7 o'clock show on Thursday night. 8 o'clock show, sorry. Fairly packed theater. A lot of excited people, a few families in there.
A lot of kids,
obviously. There was a little bit of chit-chat behind us from kids.
The guy was kicking my shit.
That's Superman thing! That's Superman, see? That guy,
like, it was kind of annoying, cool. But at some points it was really fun.
At some points it's really sweet. It was really cute, and it makes it more endearing. It makes it a little more special to hear a kid react to superheroes. Alright, so, very quick. I love Man of Steel. I actually rewatched it on Wednesday night after work just to have it fresh in my head.
Wednesday?
Yeah. On Wednesday night, I was in my room, I watched Man of Steel.
Oh, man, sorry. I was like, wait a minute. Batman vs. Superman. I was like, how did you revisit that on Wednesday? I was like, you saw that on Thursday.
Time travel. I rewatched that on Wednesday night just to refamiliarize myself with everything that happened in that film, because from everything I read, and then we're not that special with the dogs. Just to refamiliarize myself with everything that happened in Man of Steel, because I knew that Batman Superman would pick up towards the end of that film and be a continuation. And they very much did that with this. They showed you the battle in Metropolis between Zod and Clark. From the street level. As you are running with Bruce from the harbor into the main city, and Bruce is trying to get to Wayne Financial Building, where some of his employees are still trapped, and he wants to help get them out. And the first thing about that really I thought was cool was that you have Bruce Wayne, billionaire, playboy CEO of Wayne Enterprises, is personally himself trying to go save his employees. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was really neat. It showed good character. I love the design they did for the kind of parallel of Metropolis and Gotham. Gotham is more of like a forgotten town, kind of in the dregs. Yeah. And it's a harbor town. And you have Metropolis, which is also a harbor town that's thriving. It's very popular. You know, there's money there. There's new money as opposed to old money. I think you could say with the Waynes, it was old money, and obviously since they were gone, it was still surviving, but not the way it should have. Whereas Metropolis, you have, young Lex Luthor, and therefore new money's in the city, and the city's thriving and building. So I like that. My initial reaction to the movie was I really, really enjoyed it. There was some moments in there that kind of got me a little bit. There was a few good little surprises. There was some pacing issues with the editing that I thought could have been better.
All right, we agree on that.
Yeah, we agree on that. Yeah.
We agree on that.
There was some editing issues I had. The length of the film didn't bother me. It's 2.5 hours.
Well,
it didn't bother me.
The R-rated cut's going to be about 25 minutes longer.
3 hours, yeah. It'll be about 3 hours. Again, there's probably about a good 10 minutes that probably didn't need to be in there. But that's fine. I can say at least 10 minutes. That could have been cut.
Yeah, you can always cut something, but
you do get the Batman origin, which probably never needs to be shown again on film for at least 50 years.
Well,
going
with the Batman origin, here's kind of my thing the intro was kind of that intro saying, like, we are going to reinvent Batman. That's what the intro, because the intro was, Bruce Wayne, his mother and father being executed, and it wasn't an intro of Superman. It was an intro of Batman. So the thing was, it was kind of like they're reintroducing this character, but the way the movie played out is a continuation of Man of Steel. So, and then the other thing, Will's going to bring this up later, is that they jam-packed a lot of stuff into this movie. They
really put a lot into this movie, and I think, again, like I said, there's probably at least a good 10 minutes, maybe even 20, that could have been cut out, and a lot of that probably could have been it within that last climax. You could have saved that. You could have ended the film at one shot, and left you completely open, and that I think would emphasize, that probably would have raised its critical score, which I really don't care about anyways. but it probably would have raised the critic score and made your fan base, your audience,
not as
eager.
pissed off.
Not necessarily. There we go already. Very eager to see the next installment. It would make them much more eager for Justice League.
Right.
I think is what they could have done. Obviously, they didn't do it. If you have seen the film, awesome. I'm glad you're listening. If not, this will be spoiler-filled, so please feel free to bookmark this video. Listen to us after you've seen the movie. If you don't care about spoilers, cool, because we will go deep into them. Mainly because it's what pissed off Will so much.
But,
so with that being said...
Yeah. Well, first let's go through...
Tommy has show notes, so we're going to start with show notes.
Well, I was going to say, this is a continuation of Man of Steel, so it's not like they really have to reiterate Superman here. As I mentioned, they're kind of reinventing Batman. They do show some sequences in the movie that, if you are familiar with the comics, you would understand why Batman is the way he is now. Kind of with the impression that the Christian Bale Batman left on us is no weapons, no killing. Obviously, in this, that Batman's a bit more ruthless, brutal.
I think
he's dragging a car full of people.
Okay. Here's my response to that. I thought about it honestly all day at work and how to respond to that. And they kind of not necessarily give you an excuse, but they give you a reason behind it. Because even to Alfred, when he's one of the first ways they introduce not necessarily Bruce Wayne but Batman in this film is him saving a bunch of girls, I guess, who are being prostituted or something like that from this. I guess it was either a pimp or a pedophile, something like that. The guy had chained up against the heater, the radiator.
Oh yeah, that's right.
With the brand on him.
Yeah.
To Alfred, I think the brand was also a new thing.
Well,
because he even you hear it a lot. You hear it in the trailers. The first couple trailers that come out, you hear the whole thing. That's how it starts: the fever, the rage that turns good men cruel. And what he was emphasizing is because when you watch it in context with that line, they're watching a video of what happened in Metropolis, of the fight between Clark and Zod, and how destructive that was. And you see this alien being from another world who is so powerful that it can make you, as a regular man, feel inferior. And part of it can be ego, at least for Bruce. But part of it, to me, also with Bruce, is he's lost his humanity. He's a character who's become so dark and so hurt and hardened by life that now he's finally not letting go of his moral code, but loosening it. Loosening his grip on it.
And the other thing, too,
a little less.
With the brand... and this kind of occurred to me too, because the other thing too, I'm like, they did show it in the trailer, the armor of Jason Todd. Now I finished Arkham Knight. Okay. Jason Todd gets branded by the Joker. I don't know if that happened in the.
Jason Todd died.
No, Jason. Oh yeah, but during the torture sequence, Jason Todd gets a J branded into his face. I don't know if the movie was kind of hinting that the whole branding thing was kind of like him losing his grasp of being kind of the defender of the people because the Joker got to him. I mean, I suspect that's what it is.
That's one theory. But
his brand is his way of saying, I've saved someone, I got to leave a mark.
I think what the Jason Todd uniform actually kind of symbolizes is that darkness that Bruce now has. He's already started at the bottom from having his parents go in front of him, and now here's someone he mentored, he tried to train them up as good as him, who he also inherently failed. Yeah. And I think that's what's made him so hard and bitter. And you see it, he's very, aside from his relationship with Alfred, he's very cut off from people.
Yeah, he is.
He's very much, he'll deal with them through his associates, through his employees. But, I mean, even when you see him with when he wakes up from the nightmare, he doesn't wake up the girl next to him in bed and be like, I saw some weird fucking shit in my head. He leans over, he has a drink, and he gets up and he just walks out of the room. And he's very disconnected from humanity. Because he's, I think, especially from losing Jason Todd, as we've talked about, and now also the destruction of Metropolis and losing all his employees, to him at least, is very personal. I think anyone he gets close to very much becomes a substitute for his parents and his family, and now he's learned enough lessons from that he's disassociating from people, and that's where I think this Batman starts, at least in this film. He's at that level already.
Yeah, it's just when I was saying when they're reinventing the Batman, they do give you little kind of hints here and there, but it's also when we were talking about there's so much going on in this film. Sometimes when you're piecing this stuff together, like I was watching or listening to another review, Screen Junkies, where they were talking about how when you get grounded with a character, when you watch a series, a movie, or something like that, and if there's so much changing, so much going on, and Snyder, he reminded me, his style with Batman vs Superman, and I'm gonna mention it, you're probably gonna hate me, it reminded me of Sucker Punch a little bit. How Sucker Punch jumped around. Like you have the characters. Actually, I just realized
he did that with
Stick was in Sucker Punch. But anyways, Man of Steel, it stayed with that one arc. I mean, it's not like, oh, we've got Superman, we've got Batman, then we've got Justice League, then we got Wonder Woman, then we got to introduce this and this and this and this and this and this. It stayed on one arc. With Batman vs Superman, it literally was to me like it's Man of Steel 2, featuring Batman, featuring Wonder Woman, featuring potentially the Justice League. So it was, but the main story that I caught from it was that, yes, it was Man of Steel 2 with Lex Luthor and elaborating on that. So when you're reinventing the Batman, you're also kind of saying, like, here's another character we have to reintroduce, sort of, because, yeah, we're all used to the Christian Bale, but at the same time, you've also got Batman... goers that say, like, well, he's continuing from Michael Keaton Batman, or he's continuing from this. But this Batman, because with Suicide Squad coming up, this Batman is entirely new. So the fact that they just put him into the movie with little introduction is very hard for moviegoers to grasp.
I will actually graciously disagree with that, because I think most moviegoers have seen every other Batman film, that they know who Batman is. They very much... your Batman is the first Batman you remember seeing. For me, my first Batman, my Batman, is Michael Keaton, because I remember seeing Batman Returns in 92.
Well,
Michael
Keaton's Batman is a killer.
Blatantly, yes, he's a killer. He's let shit happen.
I remember, when we went back, when we saw Batman at AMC. It
was like almost 2 years ago.
Fashion Valley. It was like, no, he killed the Joker. I don't care what they say. Like, oh no, he died when he hit the ground. It's like, no, he freaking killed the Joker. So that was the thing. It's like, we were already used to seeing the Christian Bale Batman with no guns, no kill policy. So that was kind of, and the way it was done, the Mark Christian Bale's Batman left with Heath Ledger and all that stuff, it felt like genuine. It felt good.
Well, with Christian Bale's, they started awesome with Batman Begins. They elevated in The Dark Knight.
They did.
But then they kind of tripped over their own 2 feet on Dark Knight Rises.
They did.
And he kind of went out with a whimper.
Because, Dark Knight Rises...
He went out a little bit with a whimper.
You can tell Dark Knight Rises, like, they tried to...
ran out of their steam.
They were trying to make dialogue that, like, just didn't fit, or you're kind of like, well, what? It's like, was he high when he wrote this, or what? But, it's... overall, mostly Dark Knight with Heath Ledger Joker, all that left the impression. But it was that other thing, too, that he's like, no kill. But the way they reintroduced Batman in this one, and I'm saying he's being reintroduced, he's still Batman. But Suicide Squad...
He's being reintroduced, but he's not, some green one. He's been doing this for a while.
Well, he even mentions, like, I've had my fair share of dealing with crazies and clown suits and stuff like that. So, because the other thing too is Suicide Squad is supposed to have a lot. They said it's supposed to have a lot more tie-in to Dawn of Justice than people are kind of just thinking that it's just going to be the villains. No, we already know Batman's going to be in Suicide Squad. Yeah. But the other thing too, as I was talking to Jackie earlier, is like, they have in the trailer. Leto's Joker torturing someone, and I was like, what if he's torturing Jason Todd?
That's Harley.
Yeah.
Oh, he's torturing Harley?
That's Harley.
That's
Oh.
Harley.
That's how he makes her. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like a puppet. So, I mean, seeing Batman kill is kind of like a whole different...
I don't like it.
It's just an awkward feeling.
Wait,
I'm like,
he's not
did
Batman.
he just do that?
I'm just saying he's not
like,
Batman if he's
dragging
killing.
a car behind him? It's like-
Batman. That's Batman's one rule. You know, that's Batman's one rule. He does not kill. You know, that's like Daredevil. He does not kill.
Yeah, but he's always got that excuse.
That's his one rule.
Because I'm Batman.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't like it. I liked how he looked, like he was all beefy and stuff, and they made him, because in real life, Ben Affleck's taller than, Henry Cavill. They didn't make it where Superman was bigger. They made Superman this small guy and Batman this huge guy.
Yeah, they did.
But Superman's just this little punk that just slap you around and, do whatever he wants.
The other thing, too, is, like, even that line in the movies, like, I could have ended this anytime I wanted to. Yeah. And Batman was like, no, you can't.
Well, I think part of that is also referencing to Clark knows what he's capable of now, given time. I mean, obviously in the first film, when he's kind of learning what he can do, and you have the voiceover from Jor-El, saying the only way you can know your limits is to keep pushing and keep pushing and see what you can do. And I think that kind of reached this point with Zod where he spoilers, he killed Zod. And he knows he can kill him. And now he knows he can kill you in an instant if he wanted to. And he's self-aware as far as that goes. And he's letting Bruce know that I know what I can do. You may know me because you've been watching footage of me or you've been studying me, but I know me too. Mm-hmm. And I know that I can end you in a heartbeat. And I'm choosing not to because I need you for this or that or the other. Or this doesn't need to be between us.
The other thing,
I think that's what that is.
I saw that little snuff video that you posted of Ben Affleck and Cavill. Like, so what do you think about the movie's getting bad reviews? They're playing, Hello Darkness? Or
Yeah.
Sound of Silence. Sound of Silence, yeah. So I was kind of like, honestly, it's like, Affleck did a great job as Superman. Now, going with Cavill, though, I think he kind of got a little... I think his acting was a bit...
Stiff,
mediocre, just it wasn't...
I think he was a little...
Like, I don't want to see another Christopher Reeve here.
No. Are we talking about the horse accident? Or are we talking
No.
about
It's like...
Wow.
Talking about how, like, it gets kind of goofy or, like, very, like... We're not even trying anymore. I'm just going to be doing this because I'm dressed up
I think he's doing two different personas, whereas with Clark, he's a little more passionate, a little more real, and nice. And as Superman, he knows the eyes of the world are on him, so he has to be a certain way.
Yeah.
He is a symbol for people, and that's how Lois presents it to him. This is a symbol, it means something to these people. It gives them hope. His mother presents it that way to him too. Be what they need. Be their idol. Be the savior. Be whatever they need you to be.
Or screw them.
Or fuck them. Yeah. Basically. So I think he knows when he's around people, he has to hold himself a certain way more, or emphasize more. Not necessarily saying I'm better than you, but I know how you view me, so I have to keep that presence around myself at all times.
Another thing too, Jackie.
Or they're talking about halos.
Another thing
he has
too,
to have that halo.
Right, and then going with what Jackie mentioned too, it's like with his red cape and everything like that, there was a very Christian moment where the cape, he was wrapped in the cape and everything like that, where it was like kind of that portrayal of
everyone's floating in the air and they're going like this.
Yeah, and they're reaching up to them.
You know,
well, they had that even in a.
But that's what he's based on.
In Man of Steel, they had that when he's talking with Jor-El. Look at them. You can save them. You can save them all. And he floats out of the hole and his arms are spread out. You're like, if this isn't a metaphor for Christ, what is?
Superman is a giant metaphor.
It's a blend of Moses and Jesus. That was the original idea when Stephen and Schuster wrote him. He was a blend of Moses and Jesus. He's the most like you.
Jewish.
Very Jewish. When Michael Uzlan, who was one of the producers of this film and has produced every Batman film ever made, including the shitty ones, that's not his fault. When he had presented to a college that he wanted to teach a course on comic books, they were like, "What the fuck are you? You're trying to teach a class on comic books?" And I'm like, "Cool, comic books for kids." And he says, "Okay, if you can give me a good partogram or whatnot for why we should teach us, show me. He's like, okay, well, sir, can you tell me the story of Moses? Okay, yeah, story of Moses. Moses was a Hebrew baby whose people were being persecuted, and so his mother put him in a raft and sent him down the river, and he was found by Pharaoh's daughter and raised up in his way and became a savior of his people. Okay?
And then he disappears for like 20 years and then reappears.
Yeah, I didn't know about that until
and then Jesus does the same exact thing. You have his birth. He's a little 12-year-old. He teaches some people, and then he disappears for 20 years and shows up as a 30-year-old. Superman does the same goddamn thing. He's a little kid, sent off by his parents, raised up by humans, shows his powers a little bit, disappears for 20 years, shows up as a 30-year-old, starts saving people.
The only difference they give you between Jesus and Superman is that with Superman you can say he was in the Fortress of Solitude, learning his history, learning who he is and what he can do and who he's capable of. Because they do that at least in the old 1978 Christopher Reeve film, where he goes into the Fortress of Solitude. It's literally a different actor who's playing the young Clark Kent, and when he comes out, he's Christopher Reeve. He's the adult. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm not saying, well, Jesus went into the Fortress of Solitude too. I don't know where Jesus went. He was probably wandering the desert, learning and teaching. So that's his Fortress of Solitude. So, but yeah, again, going back to it, Superman is very much a Christ-like metaphor, and that was the whole idea with it. And again, around people, that's how he presents himself, at least to the public. Privately with Lois, or when he's at work, he will obviously be someone else. Yeah, he's.
Oh no, I saw the Honest trailer for the first movie.
Oh,
like, what color panties am I wearing? Pink. What? Like, this is dialogue from the first Superman. But
I think there's like a paper or a book called Man of Steel, Woman of Kleenex.
Well, the other thing too is like I saw this clip art from a comic where they were talking about pink kryptonite, and I guess is like because like what the image showed is Superman was getting friendly with like a crowd of people, and there was someone had pink kryptonite nearby him, and he was getting friendly. In particular, he started. Superman was talking with like a guy and like kind of like in a homosexual way, and that's what I mean. It's like
there's a lot of that in comics.
Yeah, I was like, really, Superman?
Bunch of dudes around spandex.
Well, okay, so it was kind of like they didn't really have to explain Superman that much. We've already kind of gone over Batman. How about Wonder Woman?
She's hot.
Dude, that was the biggest applause you heard in the theater was when she came out.
Yes, that was.
Full costume, already in action, kicking ass, and that was I think that's the one thing people will walk away from saying they love the most this film. Love it or hate it, this movie, that's probably the biggest highlight of the film.
She's a saving grace to this film.
She is, thank you.
She is.
And then the other thing is showing, this is a spoiler, so do not, if you're not... obviously everyone knows about Aquaman, yes, and the other one is Cyborg and Flash. Yeah. So they basically showed everybody. So it's the Dawn of Justice League Justice movie. Okay. So
I mean they were a little heavy-fisted on that. Like the most obvious way we're going to show you these other characters is that Lex Luthor is aware of metahumans in the world,
and he's keeping
track of them. He's keeping tabs on them, what they can do, where they run around. And being as he has a lot of money and power, he taps into security feeds and is watching them. And even they went so far as to give. Each one has a little logo or icon or files. So to just see that, if they had just done that and you just saw the logos on the screen and that was it, and they didn't show you anything else. That would have been a perfect tease.
I thought that was going to be it.
It would have been a good tease, but they didn't
need to show you shit.
They didn't need to show you Cyborg.
When you tack on Dawn of Justice, you need to show something.
Social titties.
I'm just saying, we're going back to boobs, apparently.
when you tack on Dawn of Justice, because it was first Batman versus Superman, and they're like, Dawn of Justice.
That's why I was like, it was Batman versus Superman. It was supposed to be Batman fighting Superman.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw in some Dawn of Justice because we got to get Justice League going because the fans are crying about it. I think
the only thing that actually would have been a better title, you could have kept the same base idea of them introducing the Justice League but just change the title to World's Finest.
What they should have done, the way
that was a good run of them. That was like the first run of them together. Was World's Finest, and just to give our little fanboy nerds who have their heart on in the basement, just to give them a little bit of pleasure, just throw World's Finest on there. You keep the same thing that happened, mostly, but you just throw that on there just to give a better title because Dawn of Justice, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice is an awful. And not a fun kind of mouthful.
The way I would have done it is that they should have ended the movie after the Batman and Superman fight, of course. Mm. They should have made the what is it? Not the retribution, but the ending of the fight. It should have been them coming to an agreement instead of him saying, "Oh, my mom's name is Martha, so don't kill me." I kind of felt like
that was weird.
That's one thing I noticed in Man of Steel, and now what they're doing with the Batman in this world. There's a lot of parent issues with these characters.
Yeah.
They're kind of clingy.
But the way I would have done it is made this. If it had to be a 2-part film, I would have said Batman vs Superman.
2-part film.
Well,
I hate that shit.
Okay, so if you don't want to do a 2-part film. Take out Justice League and take out Wonder Woman. Just make it Batman vs Superman, and give it the Man of Steel sequel.
Wouldn't, because Batman vs Superman would have been like 30 minutes and that's it.
Yeah.
No. But you have the whole Lex Luthor, Zod, Kryptonite. You have all of that now. You also have the political part. Is Superman necessary?
I'm just saying the whole entire fight with like Apocalypse or Doomsday.
But that's...
Batman was sitting in the back, so it would have just been freaking Superman. Pop, 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 pop.
It's like you see Superman and Wonder Woman.
Hey, watch out, Superman. Dude, straight away.
Stop. But... Yeah, it was like he's just sitting in the back, like he's wearing this big old piece of armor. Sees Doomsday, it's like fuck this. But the other thing too is, what I was gonna say for Doomsday,
was another saving grace for this.
Yes, he was.
Wonder Woman, Lex Luthor, they could have done. Freaking Doomsday was stupid-ish.
They should have. I was gonna say for Doomsday, they should have made that like a whole different movie. Mm-hmm. Like, they could have done Dawn of Justice, where it's Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and then have
assemble the team?
No, just have them fight Doomsday and do the whole Lex Luthor gain control of the Kryptonian ship. Yeah. And, I mean, that you could have made a whole movie itself. But the fact that they kind of threw that little bit at the end, the tail end of Batman vs Superman, it was kind of like, oh, we're finally done with this movie. They finally got their bitchness out, and it's like, okay, and now we're on to Doomsday. I was like, oh fuck, we got all this.
Well, the hard thing,
like shit.
I mean, that's where you either
watch Hateful Eight for 3 straight
hours.
Once we get to the chance of sitting down with that movie, trust me, it actually builds very well for a 3-hour movie.
Okay, you could have had the same movie of Dawn of Justice. Done with this, keep Wonder Woman in there, keep Lex Luthor in there, do the whole Kryptonite thing, have Lex be experimenting, and save Doomsday for a proper Superman sequel.
Yes.
And done that storyline the way they did it. Mm-hmm. But the issue is once you've started down, it's basically a point of no return. Once you've hit that mark of you have unleashed Doomsday onto Metropolis, you can't just end the movie. You have to finish that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you can't end it with a storyline of, they all win. They beat Doomsday.
Right.
You have to, spoilers, end it with the proper storyline of Doomsday, which is Clark dies.
Oh.
See, even Oolong was upset.
But my
I know.
Whatchamacallit, I'm losing it now. But let's see. So we were talking about kind of how they threw in a lot of material in there. The other thing too, I think. To me, you've obviously known me about continuity, yeah. So anyway, if you're familiar with Man of Steel, which apparently takes place 18 months before Dawn of Justice, a couple blocks got leveled not just like minor damage or something. They got leveled. Like the whole building's collapsed, like ground zero leveled. Now, going back to Metropolis, it's kind of like Metropolis looks like nothing ever happened. In 18 months, some of those buildings that fell, to rebuild them, it takes more than 18 months. And I was kind of like, you gotta, that was kind of another thing that I was kind of laughing at. And I was like, but at the same time, I'm like, you got old Batman in here, and Batman's probably running on 60 right now or something.
Well, he's in his 40s.
Yeah.
They said Batman is in his 40s.
All right.
That works.
And then the other thing, too, is we're going to add in another story. It was another foreshadowing. It wasn't like kind of adding the whole story, but the Dark Seed sequence.
Well, not necessarily another story, but it was more of like a vision of what could come, what is to come. At least for I think for Bruce, because it was always Bruce's nightmares and dreams that they were, is what he can see happening with Clark being uncontrollable is the word. Not the word I'm looking for, but
once he snaps, basically.
If he snapped, or if he decided to rule the world, this is what the world would be.
Right.
And that's his nightmare.
With flying aliens.
With the Darkseid minions.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead. Because you're itching.
This movie, oh my god, dude, like it had so much potential. Jesus Christ, dude. Warner Brothers literally stabbed me in the heart with Green Lantern. And this one just turned the knife. You know, like I was really
took that knife out,
I was really apprehensive about this movie because Warner Brothers doesn't have a good track record.
Live action superhero films outside of the Dark Knight trilogy and a couple Batman films.
Well, wasn't it they put all their money on Green Lantern because they just got finished with Harry Potter? So they're like, if we did successful with Harry Potter and we made a name for ourselves, we're going to sink all this money into a superhero movie. We have no clue what we're doing.
They were hoping to do what Marvel was doing at the time, which was building the universe. And they were hoping that with Green Lantern, they would actually beat them in space with Green Lantern.
That's kind of another suggestion.
Astro character.
That was another suggestion that I kind of had with this one is like, leave Wonder Woman out. Give Wonder Woman her own movie before doing a Dawn of Justice, like Trinity show-off sort of thing.
Well, it's because what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring the team together and then break them off.
You don't rush into it. That's
what they were going to do. Had Warner Brothers done what they were originally planning back in 2008, 2009, they were going to do, and you've watched Mad Max Fury Road, right? Did you watch Mad Max? Okay. Well, it was going to be directed by George Miller, who's done the Mad Max films, and he did Happy Feet as well. George Miller's original superhero movie was going to be Justice League Immortal, and it was going to be
that's right.
It was going to basically be just like the 2009 Star Trek, where it's a young cast in their early to mid 20s that are the Justice League already together, and then they would break off into their own films. Yeah. They're reversing Marvel. They're reversing Marvel. Yeah,
which is a great idea,
and it makes sense. I mean,
but they had to recast Superman. They had to recast Batman. Green Lantern fucking
was completely kicked out.
Well,
he's no longer on the Justice League team.
This movie,
Warner's didn't announce they're going to do another Green Lantern film, but it's not going to be solely Hal Jordan. It's going to be Green Lantern Corps. So that means you run the options of Guy Gardner, Kyle Rayner. Was it Kyle? I can't remember his name.
Hal Jordan, Kyle Rain? No, Kyle. Oh crap!
I can't remember his fucking name. And obviously John Stewart.
Yeah.
You have Black Lantern, Black Lantern.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of issues with this film.
You see, honestly, because I sat next to you in the theater, you seemed pretty on par with it until we got to
Clark Kent listening.
No, I legit.
And you was like basically threw up your hands.
It was at one. Okay, the beginning, introducing all the characters and everything, just took way too long. that whole entire sequence was just, you could have just cut it down a little bit.
Like I was saying, yeah, you could have edited out another good 10, 20 minutes.
Yeah, and I legit left the theater. I went to the bathroom, you know.
Yeah, you did.
Did my like texting, and then came back and sat down, you know. And then I was into it, you know. And then they decided to do, you know, they're fighting Doomsday, and then he stops because he hears Lois hitting, you know, the
water collapsed on her.
So whatever collapsed on her, the wall,
you
know, and she's underwater, and he stops in the middle of the fight while the other teammates are fighting Doomsday, and goes and rescues her. And then
basically Wonder Woman is fighting Doomsday.
Batman.
Well, that's the other thing too. I was like, Wonder Woman just took the show. I was like, is Superman even fighting Doomsday? Because all I see is Wonder Woman, like...
No, he'd rush in and get smacked aside and go like a couple miles.
And then Wonder Woman's taking her sword. It's like she's
Wonder Woman's like
stuff.
Defense, sword.
You know what I liked is at one point during the battle, you see this kind of smirk come across her face, like I'm home. And it was just
it's right where actually she goes like this. She blocks it, and she like takes her shield, and you know she smirks, and she's got the sword, and then she does her yell, and she just charges
right in.
You know,
such a good shot.
Still, what would have made me crack up in this is that if you see like that internet meme where it's like Deadpool's behind the shield. He shows up. People in the theater are like, wait, what?
Yeah, but he stops. He saves Lois Lane. You know, he's all weak because he's touching this kryptonite spear that
kill him.
She wanted to get rid of and put it down in this giant fucking well type thing, and then Doomsday shows up, and then she's like, oh crap, I made a bad mistake, and goes and tries to get it. So he saves her. He's all weak, and then they turn to each other, and he's like, I love you. Really? Come on, dude. Like, Wonder Woman's kicking ass, Batman's hiding somewhere, and you're professing your love to this chick? Like, shut the fuck up and go to work.
Yeah,
there was another thing. There's several things, dude. Batman doesn't kill, and Batman seriously killed like 20 people in this.
I was counting.
There's a sequence where he's chasing after this one guy, right? And
he's chasing the kryptonite.
Yeah,
back to LexCorp.
Yeah, and so he's chasing the kryptonite, right? And he gets this car like he rams the car first, and then he drives past it, and he's chasing the other car. He then throws something
like a tail hook,
and drags them
the car
behind them, right? And then during this, other cars are going, and then he makes another car goes into a tanker and blows up, and he drives on through while this car is still behind him. He hits the other car and then flips the car that he's dragging on top of him. Yeah, he killed a bunch of people. There's another fight sequence where he's fighting, right? And he just legit throws this guy, and the way the guy lands, that dude's neck is broken. He's dead. And then he to save his Superman's mother, right? He shoots another guy in the tanker, like because he's got a flamethrower about to burn Superman's mother, and he just shoots the tank and then covers her up. You know, kills that guy. Another issue is Batman doesn't use guns.
No, he doesn't. That was the very awkward thing to see. Was when Batman's like,
he has a dream sequence where he's got two pistols, just pop, 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 and then drops them, and then picks up like an AK or whatever, and just do, and then he has no problem taking the bad guy's guns, picking them up, and using it on them. Come on, dude. That's not Batman.
It was very awkward. I will admit, it's very awkward to see because you see, like even in the Arkham series that came out for the consoles and PC, he is a combatant. And he puts his prisoners in Gotham Police Department. Like he doesn't kill his prisoners. He doesn't like twist anybody. Well, actually, like Arkham Knight, he does get a bit brutal. Like That would have killed someone if he actually fought like that. But in the movie, it was like, yeah, let's just make Batman kill.
Well, I mean,
what?
Well, he basically became judge, jury, and executioner because he started branding people. And that brand, once they went into jail, they were murdered. They were killed, you know?
Right.
And so he basically found that out, and he kept doing it until the end of the movie when he's got a chance to do it to Lex Luthor, you know, and he, for some odd reason, his morality shows up, and he decides not to do it. Come on!
Because it's Lex Luthor.
Yeah, but, like, they shove so much goddamn shit from different comic books, different referencing here. Just get the goddamn Justice League together, and don't kill off fucking Superman at the same time. Oh, they basically shoved up Justice League up your butt, wedding of Superman, death of Superman, New 52, Injustice, Doomsday up your butt in one film. And, you know, it's really cool to see all this, but it just doesn't fit, you know? Honestly, it just seemed like they were just rushing it because they wanted to show it.
That was part of what I get to is like whenever I get in the debate is like, yeah, these sequences, they don't, like when I talk about grounding a character, you get acquainted with a character, you learn their character development and everything like that. In this movie, it was kind of like, well, we don't need to do that. You have kind of a different perspective on Batman. At least go in depth about it. Now, here's in the theater, the theatrical cut probably doesn't have that, but what I would like to see in the rated R cut is that when he looks at Jason's armor, he'll have a flashback, and it will show Joker torturing Jason Todd for a little sequence in the rated R version, because being torture, it is kind of like a rated R segment. So there's things like that. Maybe the rated R cut will...
I guarantee you Ben Affleck boned Wonder Woman. And that's their rated R. That one sex scene. I guarantee you that random chick he was
in the graveyard.
In the graveyard.
Harlan is dead over there. He's like, yeah, insult to injury.
Yeah, no, it's just they tried to do too much, and then he professes his love to Lois Lane, dies, and then his mom, while she's sitting in his bed, like thinking about him, goes, "Oh yeah, he wanted to propose to you," and gives her the ring.
Oh, I know. Well, he's kind of like,
is that endearing to everyone else? But Jesus Christ, that just adds insult to injury.
Oh no, yeah, there was a couple sequences in that movie where I was like, yeah, maybe you should have thought about doing this before this person got killed or before this person got jacked up or something like that. But you always, it's like, it's kind of like just walking. Oh, I'm trying to think of an analogy here, but it's like walking into someone's house and you say hello to them like 10 minutes later. It's like, oh, hello. Yeah, I just walked in your house uninvited and stuff.
What else they do?
It's like, oh, I died, but I was going to give you a ring when I was alive.
Oh, that whole entire thing with Ben Affleck and Wonder Woman, him going, "Oh yeah, you're going to help me find the other metahumans, so because we need to get together." That was them tying the knot. Oh, we're going to make Justice League. They could have skipped that. And eventually, they would have come up, and she's like, "Why do you? You said they need to fight. Why do they need to fight?" "Oh, I just have a feeling." Come on, dude.
Got a feeling.
Like, really? And then the next thing they're going to do is Return of Superman, because in his casket you see the dirt levitate a little bit. You're like, dude.
Yeah, that was unnecessary. That's an end. That reminded me of Tommy's gonna love this. The end of X-Men 3, The Last Stand, when Magneto's sitting in the park playing chess, and he's just trying to, maybe he didn't lose his power, and he's trying to make the little chess piece move. It's made of brass, and you see it just kind of kick a little, and then it cuts. And that's the same thing here. And I kind of thought, is this an homage to X-Men? And then I thought, this was, again, just like that, unnecessary, that ending. Yeah. Had they ended it just on the casket with the S on it, and just ended it that way, just ended it a little more somber, that would have been a little more somber of an ending. I think a better ending.
But
Obviously, they're wanting to emphasize that
they're bringing
we're going to bring him back. We want to do a full Justice League.
Why would you kill him off when you're trying to do Justice League?
Because again, once you introduce the character of Doomsday, you can't end that character plot, that character line, that storyline without ending it that way. And therefore, like I said, once you hit that point of no return, if they just ended the film with Lex Luthor experimenting, developing Doomsday, having it still in that kind of nest, that little womb that it came out of, if you ended it with Doomsday there, with Bruce and Clark resolving their issue, with Diana joining them, and they kind of get together, and we got to form something together to face off against whatever he's doing over there, and that's where you end the movie. If you ended it there, it would have been a tighter film, it would have made a little more sense, and it would have made you anticipate the next one more.
Yes.
But once they opened that sack, and once Doomsday came out, you had to finish it. It had to be finished. You could not end that halfway through. That's like what they did.
You should have just that's what they did.
That's what they did in The Hobbit, in Desolation of Smaug and Battle of Five Armies, because they ended Desolation of Smaug with Smaug leaving the mountain and going to Lake Town. They ended with him flying to Lake Town, and so whatever happens in Lake Town in the third film, in the beginning of Battle of Five Armies, when he's burning down Lake Town, your entire empathy for the situation is gone, because it's already been so long since you last saw the other film, and that it's not fully connected again. Had they kept it with the Hobbit from the time they enter the mountain all the way until he destroys Lake Town and is killed, kept that arc for Smaug, it makes it a better story. And same thing here. Once you start that sack with Doomsday, you cannot end it until it ends the way you know it's supposed to end. That was the issue. That's my not necessarily the way you guys have it, but that would be my one big issue with the movie is once you introduce Doomsday, it can't end until Doomsday kills Clark and Clark kills Doomsday. It has to end that way. Yep. And that's the road they tripped down. They tripped down. I don't know who did it. I don't know if it was Goyer. I don't know if it was Chris Terrio who decided to add that into a script. I don't know who did it.
Fuck you.
It was a mistake, and it's one that unfortunately I think is what's dividing a lot of people of the film. Yeah. I think it's also adding to a lot of another thing that we talked about earlier was editing, was pacing. Like you said, you got up at one point, went to the bathroom, took a piss, and whatnot, were answering text messages, then you came back in, and you really didn't miss much.
I didn't. I seriously didn't.
The only thing you missed was Lex going on this random little rant about I think philosophy and about he's talking a little bit about Greek mythology at his little benefit thing. Oh, and Diana's there listening to this, and you can kind of see he talks about I think how Zeus brought down the lightning bolt and Prometheus gave fire, and she's just kind of going. You see this kind of smirk and just kind of mild head shake going, that's not what happened. It just kind of hits it. One thing I really like they did was when Bruce is investigating her and gets into the LexCorp files on what Lex has found about her and about the other members of the Justice League, and he finds a picture of her from like 1918. And it's her with Steve Trevor. Yeah. And it's like, here is your tease for her movie. She's here with a bunch of World War I soldiers. What is this story? We're going to show you next year. Yeah. I think that was a good, legitimate tease.
Here's another thing I had. Why the fuck are his employees still in that goddamn building?
Well, okay, to be fair, in Man of Steel, they were all still on the Daily Planet when that fucking thing was going on.
Why though?
I don't know! You have to create conflict, you have to create drama, it's part of writing.
I'm just like this big old alien craft just landed in the middle of our freaking city. Let's just stay in the building.
Ben Affleck's Batman is the worst detective ever. Ever! It took him forever. Like, literally, someone had to tell him, oh yeah, you're being set up right now by Lex Luthor. No! Batman would have figured that out, and then you should have wrote it where Superman's the one going after Batman, and Batman's like, oh no, you got it wrong, and then getting his ass kicked.
Well, the other thing too, this wasn't
getting his ass kicked.
The only thing that's tough, like right there, is that this is not a Batman movie, even though he's in the title.
It's not a Batman movie.
It's a Batman versus Superman, and mainly, it's like I was saying earlier, it's the Superman arc. It's not the Batman
It is Superman arc, but really, I mean, I think if we decide to sit there and time it, and time the amount of screen time, I almost guarantee you Affleck has more screen time as Bruce Wayne and as Batman than Cavill does as Superman.
Yeah.
Or as Clark Kent.
And And they tease Fortress of Solitude and doesn't show you it. Are you freaking kidding me?
Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, like his like.
When he went out in the snow. When he was
and he's
hiking in the mountain.
Oh.
He talked to his father.
Yeah,
also when he's grabbing the ship, like he's building something, doing something.
Yeah.
You know. I was like, oh yeah, Fortress of Solitude, cool. You're going to see it. Nope.
They really kind of took. You remember in Superman Returns when Lex Luthor finds the Fortress of Solitude and he goes in and he turns the crystal on and the recording of Marlon Brando turns on and says, "Tell me everything." They did that in this one with Lex going into the ship and he finds Zod's command key. And he finds Zod's command key and turns it on and he talks to the system and teach me, tell me everything. And he learns about Krypton. He learns his weaknesses, his powers, what he can do. He learns all about Clark. He learns all about Zod. He learns about what
Kryptons are,
what Kryptonians are, what the deformed were, and how he was able to then make Doomsday with his own experimentation with the blood sacrifice, blood of my blood. Yeah, that I thought was kind of neat. Yeah. And I really did like the way they played Eisenberg. The way they played Eisenberg, the way Eisenberg played Lex Luthor, I thought was. I know a lot of people were all kind of yee about it with how he was presented in that first trailer, but they were showing you one side. And I expected him to be a two-sided character where he has a public persona, much like all these other characters. He has a public persona and his private persona, and the private persona is a much more sinister person, and he really had that, and not even sinister. But on the verge of crazy, of his mind is fractured.
Even the other thing too.
Even the way I'm sorry, but even with the way he would talk and think, he was talking a little about height, then he starts talking about height. And he started literally fucking doing math, and he talks about theorems, and then straight line. The straightest line to Superman is you, and pushes her off a building. Okay, so I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say with Lex Luthor, I can kind of get why Eisenberg's Lex Luthor is not going to be the one that everyone really cared for, because everyone's familiar with Lex Luthor being a chrome dome. So,
well, I mean, yes and no.
Gene Hackman had his hair because he didn't want to shave it off.
He didn't want to shave it off.
So they made him Lex Luthor, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll keep your
But there is a scene in that film where he eventually he pulls off his
and that's right.
He is bald.
So, but even at the end, when they shave his head in prison, it's kind of like. You are a new person now. You are still Lex Luthor, but now you just what you thought your life was, it's going to change. Because usually anytime that symbolism, you're cutting the hair off, even when you're, when you enlist in the service, they shave your head.
Yep.
You belong to them. So it's it's kind of like they're supposed... The symbolism there is that they're supposed to break you down to they can mold you into something else. So it's like Lex Luthor with all of his hair gone. It's like he's broken down. He's going to become something else. So he pulled that off before what's his name, Professor Xavier.
Oh, McAvoy is Xavier. Yeah, that looks a little better on Eisenberg than it does on McAvoy.
And then I mean. The pacing was one of my issues. Was it still entertaining? Did it have the action? Yes, it did. Did I want to see a bit more? Did I want to see? So there's stuff that I want to see a bit more, but there's stuff that I didn't want to see in this film. I wanted to have them push it off for another film. If you want to go into specifics, it's damn. But the way everything kind of tied together, it eventually got there, but
it was sloppy.
It was sloppy, yeah, and that's I think that's what most critics were saying too. Why it started with a bad critics rating. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it's just they don't like Superman, or they don't like this, or they've never read the comics." The thing is, when you're critiquing a movie, it's being translated from the comics. It's not a direct representation of the comics. And, we've talked about this in our previous podcast too. And it's kind of the thing I feel bad for those that say, hey, I've been reading the comics for X amount of years just to see a movie that fucks it up. I know the feeling because I saw Resident Evil Apocalypse. They fucked it up.
Green Lantern,
Well, no, I'm just saying, it's like when when you translate the material from a book or from a video game or something like that, I know what it feels like to see it screwed up when someone tries to put it on the silver screen.
Hey, we saw it in Aragon too.
Oh,
yeah, oh my god.
Dwarves.
You saw
Last Airbender.
But it also makes you not necessarily wonder, but come to pause on how focused. I mean, I'm sure Warner Brothers has someone like this, but one of the keys to Marvel's success, as far as their films, as individual films, and now as team films, and the branches they're reaching out to, is Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige being their head, being the main brain of it all, in designing the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And they call it the Cinematic Universe for a reason, because this is our translated comics. This is not directly our comics, because they would all be very different. This is our cinematic take of our characters and how they would look in a semi-real world.
The cinematic... Well, we're going to jump Marvel really quick, but the cinematic universe is mostly the Ultimates universe, right?
Mostly, yeah. The majority of it is Ultimate storyline.
All right, let's go back to
at least emphasis of it. And so I know Warner Brothers has I think it's their president or department head of Kevin Tsujihara is kind of filling that role, but I don't know. I'm not
doing a very good job.
I could ask someone who works. I know someone who works at Warner Brothers. I could ask them, but I don't know exactly what their mindset is. If they're simply reaching too far too fast in trying to play catch up to Marvel and try to be on level with them, or if they're trying to simply go at it from a different angle. Which, again, I welcome. If you started out fully with the Justice League and then branched out into individual films, I have no problem with that. But the problem is they've tripped on their own cape, so to speak, getting there, running to that corner. That's why Edna said no capes.
Yeah. What was the whole purpose of Batman having the cape? He didn't even freaking use it. Like, twice, I think he used it.
Well, I think part of it's also intimidation.
Oh, who gives a shit? He's a big-ass guy in a corner like this, up in a wall. That was scared the shit out of me,
cool.
too.
That was fucking cool, too.
I would have taken that police officer's face off, too. Oh, my man.
You said I didn't see like you cried. Start crying.
Man, dude.
That would have been good.
So overall...
Overall, what would you give it as a rating on our scale of 1 to 7?
1 to 7, yeah, I know, right? So right now, I will admit this before I give my rating. I'm gonna give a bit more of a
mercy,
grace.
No, not even.
It's okay, Ben Affleck.
There's gonna be a lot of graceful ratings right now, but also,
oh my god.
The other thing too is
he almost started crying in that video.
The other thing, yeah, he almost did.
He was on the border of tears.
The other, he's like, yeah, I agree. It's like what I don't even know what Cavill said, but you agree. But no, to me, it's like it's got all the hype right now, but same thing with The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh man,
it had insane reviews when it came out, and then all of a sudden the reviews are like, yeah, it wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. If you want me to rate Batman vs Superman on an honest scale, it's going to be around a 6.5. It's going to be down there. I was budgeting between 6.5 and 7, but as we kind of went into the sloppiness and how they tried to throw in so much material, and my thing is too is not only we already like because the argument is we know Batman, we know Superman, we know Wonder Woman vaguely, but the problem
Wonder Woman honestly is another one that I know they'll take their time with.
But when you've got all this material in a movie, it works. If all the material came from somewhere. All this material was just thrown into the movie. It came from the comic books, but for the general audience that's like, all this material is just thrown in here? Where did all this come from? Well, you have to read the comics. Well, I don't want to read the comics. I just want to enjoy the movie.
Was that Cyborg in that dream sequence where, like, through that portal, oh, you were right?
No,
that was Flash. Dude, Flash looks like Cisco.
That was Flash.
When Flash was getting like the... That was Flash.
Okay,
he had the red
cover on. Okay, you touched upon it, which I was wondering if we were going to
remember, Flash does time travel.
There is one sequence where Bruce is having I guess like a dream within a dream or a vision.
Like a dream
and he had... Shut up. Inception. And all of a sudden this portal opens up, and you see this guy in what looks like a hoodie, but also like a red suit underneath, with a mask, full body suit, and a red glove. You can kind of see flipping and shifting very, very rapidly.
Yeah.
And kind of saying to Bruce, "You're right. You know, you're right about him. You're right about him. You got to take care of it. You're right about him." And they're not.
You got to find us.
You got to find us. You got to bring us together. And that's basically. I saw it at. The way I understood it was the Flash, because if you do watch the Flash like we do, the Flash can time travel.
Technically, Cyborg can too.
I know, yes. Technically, Cyborg can.
With his cannon?
Yes.
He can...
like portals.
Yeah, portals. Yeah.
He can do like portals.
That's what I saw.
And time spheres, yeah.
I didn't see it, Rick. I saw that guy.
Wow.
I said half.
You saw what you wanted to see.
My thing was, it was entertaining, and, like, yes, it did have the general story and everything, but as far as the pacing goes, that's the part for me that really killed it. It's kind of one of those movies that say, I have to watch it a second time to pick up on the whole story. And it's not because the story has little hidden things here and there, like we were talking about Shutter Island.
Yeah.
Shutter Island is one of those movies, you watch it, and you get it the first time through. This is a movie where it's like there's so much packed in here, and it's like you might have to watch it a second time to kind of understand it.
I'm sorry.
What?
Like every other show, Shutter Island comes in. I swear to God, this is Tommy's Shawshank Redemption, where you couldn't relate any other movie into how the structure and writing compares to
You want me
for him and Shutter Island.
You want to bring in Interstellar? I can do that.
No, if you want to hear Rand Part 2, let's watch Interstellar. Just leave Tommy alone with the microphone. I will be somewhere else. We'll come back when it's done.
You guys can sit and talk about Batman and Superman again.
So, anyways,
what are you doing?
I'm going to say 6.5. What's your guys' verdict?
Well,
like a 5, dude. Like 4 or 5. Come on, dude. Like,
I'm just saying, it was entertaining. It had a story. I could at least follow some of the story.
I left the theater for 10 minutes to come back to the good part.
Hello, Come back in.
Dude, like.
But I mean, I know, like it's like I was saying, there's going to be generous reviews right now, but I don't want to give that. I don't want to say that, because it's got a bad rating that, or the way I say,
go see it.
It's not a bad film.
Yeah,
it's not a bad film.
Okay.
It's just it's not.
It wasn't.
Like I said, it was reaching too far too fast.
They could have done so much more. It is a good film. It like general public. Someone that doesn't know shit, good film. Someone who knows shit like me, yeah, it's a 4 or 5, man. Like the fact that I.
Well, remember, I'm kind of more of the general audience. To me, it was entertaining. It's not saying it was not entertaining because I know the source material. I don't know the source material as well.
It was entertaining. Like again, their saving graces were Wonder Woman and Lex Luthor.
Well, I was also going to say Flash and Cyborg and Aquaman.
Oh, yeah.
Those are good teases. Again, they're a little heavy-handed with how they did it.
Lex Luthor was...
Yeah, no, you could totally tell Aquaman was holding his breath, though.
Yeah.
I'm just saying...
It's a little hard.
Yeah, they're going to have to... I don't know what they're going to do
with
Aquaman.
When you can do the way you can do that, at least for Aquaman, if you're going to do extended underwater sequences like that, where he's not in a kingdom or on land, you do what they do with Lord of the Rings. You do dry for wet, where they film you dry on a set, either with like a fan or something to blow you to give the effect, and then you just digitally paint over the water.
That would be cool. That would make more sense.
They're
trying to be all realistic.
And he's underwater. He's literally underwater. Yeah.
Like, cheeks puffed out with his air, and the fish. And then he's like trying to poke people, and then all of a sudden you just see him go whoosh.
Take off.
I know, that's what I was like. He's got his trident, he's like, I'm gonna touch it with a stick.
I'm gonna poke it with a stick.
I'm gonna poke it.
So.
Alright, guys, it's the humans bugging me again.
Right.
I'm gonna poke it with a stick.
What do you think of cyborg tease?
That was cool.
That was
good. That one actually follows the source.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That,
well, I mean, you could. They mentioned it in the background. I mean, actually, no, not even in the background. Perry White very blatantly says, he wants Clark to write a story about the star athlete who just had a tragedy, in his life. And, what's going to happen with him now. And I'm like, I think there's one scene where there's like several news channels on the background, and one of them is a high school football game. I'm looking for the name Stone.
Yeah.
Where's the kid with the name Stone on his jersey? Because that's Victor.
But the one scene is they didn't really explain why the scientist was doing it and why he was getting so frustrated. Mm-hmm. It's his son.
Yeah, it's his son.
It's his son.
Well, yeah, but at the same time too, there's like you were saying, they had probably like that thing where it's like, we have to make this like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Max.
So the thing is, when you go into the whole editing process, they're probably like, all right, we got kind of a general script of what lines he can deliver here and what we can show. But
their cameo, they should have just. They're really blunt with it. They should have just like
I said, they're pretty heavy-handed with it.
It would have been cool if they made it more apparent with the portal scene. Mm-hmm. That's Flash. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool.
That's all I'm expecting. Once I saw that,
Cyborg,
okay, there's Flash.
Victor Stone, like Victor Stone, and then a giant alien, or I don't know. You see like him like turning into Cyborg.
Or it would be fun if you had like
or leave that one sequence right there in the folder, and then that's the only meta-human that he knows about from Star Labs.
Yeah,
because he has access to that.
Yeah.
And then do Aquaman there's we found an underwater kingdom.
Apparently, one of our deep sea cameras was found like an underwater kingdom.
Yeah,
and was destroyed.
Yeah, something like that. Or Aquaman, popping up and saving Lois Lane, so Superman doesn't have to stop in the middle of a fight and go save her ass, and then come back and then tell her he loves her, and then go and die.
You know what I'm actually kind of hoping they would do?
He actually died twice in this film.
You're talking about when he catches the
nuke? Yeah. And the dumbass humans are, they're in outer space. Let's launch a nuke.
I know.
Because that fixes everything. Let's just blow it up.
Blow shit up.
If he's Kryptonian, what can I do? This big ass monster. Yes, let's blow it up with a nuke because that's why it worked.
Worked in the Avengers.
I was just thinking, it's like the whole Aquaman thing. It was like if someone's getting raped on the beach. He's like, if you don't really like fish, you're not gonna like what I threw at you. It's a if you don't like starfish, you're in trouble.
I was just saying, Aquaman.
Aquaman, they've really updated him and made him a better character. I was really hoping
he has more magic too now.
That they have the World Engine over there in the Indian Ocean where they found the kryptonite. I was really hoping they would say they were trying to get to that, but there's these people who claim to be from an underwater kingdom guarding it, and they won't let anyone near it.
That's
like if you had just done it like that. That's your nod to Aquaman and to Atlantis, and that's it.
Or you just have Aquaman grab the stupid spear, and like they did in Marvel with Cap's body with Namor, Aquaman just go pop out of the water. Just start kicking ass with it,
That'd be a little too on.
By the way, Marvel, you need to do this sequence with Captain America introducing Namor, where there's a bunch of little Eskimos fishing, and then Namor finds Captain America's body by just jumping out of the water and scaring the shit out of the Eskimos. Ah! You need Asian.
It's a splash page in the Death of Captain America: Fallen Sun storyline, where they're going back over his life and they reference how they found him, and it's literally a shot of Namor out of the water holding Cap in a block of ice and yelling, and it's this epic image that looks so cool. But it was done by John Cassidy.
Yeah, him and Namor fought.
Yeah.
In World War II.
In the war with the Human Torch.
Yeah.
They fought. They were part of the invaders.
So before we go too far into Marvel, what was your take on Superman?
My rating, I would probably give it the highest rating out of the three of us would be like 7.5.
And it's still low.
It's still low. For me...
I was about to say,
because how much I love Man of Steel, and to me, Man of Steel is my definitive Superman. Like, I never got Superman. I've read Superman comics. I watched the animated series and I liked it. But for me, I didn't get it. It didn't really get to me until I watched Man of Steel. And I finally understood the character fully, and I loved it. And so I was expecting... I got some of that with this film. Not nearly as much, because I was much more excited for Batman. To me, I didn't have that big of a problem with Batman. I thought Affleck physically, and I think even his demeanor and his character is very much Batman to me. And obviously, Will disagrees.
Not Batman.
I disagree.
So, yeah, I will probably stand at a 7.5, which for me is a fairly low rating. It's not a bad rating. It's not a great rating.
But it's borderline.
But it's borderline, and it's. I will say, I will probably watch this film a couple more times to really critique it, to really look for the flaws, to also look for silver lining. Because I'm sure every rain cloud does have a silver lining. This one even, I'm sure, has one. And again, had you cut off about a good 10, 20 minutes, rearranged a couple shots, it probably would have been a better film. If you'd stopped at a certain point and just left it open-ended to where you want to see more, it would have made it a better film.
Want to see more? Then you'll order my next
take. Starship Troopers. Would you like to know more?
They, okay, I will give Warner Brothers this. They do a great animated series.
Yeah, all their animated stuff with these characters
I follow those religiously. Their animated stuff, their movies that they come out with, Flashpoint Paradox is one of my favorites.
You're talking last night on the way home, we're talking about Young Justice.
Young Justice is one of my favorite series. Like, it is just well written. You know, you see Justice League, you see Young Justice, you see all the families. You see the Superman family, the Batman family, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter family. You know, you get to see them all.
Artemis, you had Red Arrow, Speedy.
Yeah, Green Arrow. You see just all of them. Yeah, all of them. It's great. But you guys suck at your live action.
I mean, for some reason I think, and my argument to that was, when it comes to it being in an animated form, we're a little more forgiving because we're already in the medium of it's animated, as opposed to live action. So, I think we're a little more, our disbelief is suspended, I think, a little more in animation than we are in live action.
Yeah, I think so.
I do. Because if we look at, okay, if we did, let's have fun with this. Let's say we did Toy Story as a live-action film. Would you still have the same feeling for it? If it was the exact same story, the exact same script, same lines, same actor voices, everything, but instead of it being fully CG, it was a live-action film, would you feel the same way about it? That's your answer right there.
Scary as shit.
No.
See?
But if they did the live action... that one that you were talking about last podcast about it's Andy's Toys.
Step Legend.
Yeah, where they have to go in and save him or whatever. Yeah, I would believe that shit.
But part of it also, that's darker material. It's not as lighthearted, nor is it as kid friendly. Oh my god, it's a good book though. That has been our lovely review for Batman v Superman.
Sucked. But go watch it.
It sucked, but go watch it.
Because we need Justice League.
We need Justice League. We are getting Wonder Woman. I'm excited for that. I know a lot of people who are, you get the whole kind of feminist movement. Finally, we get Wonder Woman. Yeah. Yes, it has been a long time, but honestly, I think Gal Gadot has, in the benefit of the doubt, she has stood out much more than people thought she would.
Yeah.
She got a lot of shit for the role, for taking the role, and I think she's going to put a lot of naysayers down. With her performance. I really enjoyed her.
That's who that is. Hold on.
Yeah, she's in a couple
Fast
of
and Furious
films, and she had another movie out last week.
No, she made a song that I have. It's really weird.
Okay.
Is
it in Hebrew?
Oh wait, never mind. It's different.
Yeah. So again, this has been another CineMunn podcast. I've been your host, Vince Munn, joined once again by Tommy. He was destroyed by Superman Metropolis. And And Wiki Wickwire, once again, with us, who hated this film, but tells you to still go watch it, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
So you can be in my suffering.
So you can be in his suffering too. Bitch, like
Well,
you.
it's when we do a review, it's again.
All film is subjective.
Yeah,
In the end,
exactly.
all film is subjective.
And like
you
I
may
was,
love this movie more than anyone here. You may hate it more than him, which
right.
would be amazing. by the way.
We just kind of
If you do,
rant.
please let us know in the comments.
Right. We just kind of rant and give you our insights into it because, just a couple of us here have read the source materials. Some of us has not. Well, I've not.
You have not.
So it's one of the things to have different perspectives, and that's what we try to,
Emphasize.
right. That's what we try to talk about
Obviously,
here.
you, if you are listening, you have a different opinion as well. We'd love to know it. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to hear back from people who listen to our shows. So please leave it in the comments section. If you like our videos, if you like what we do, please subscribe to our page. We do a Facebook page, CineMunn, CineMunn.